must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must the white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Hey guys, Joey the Anime Man here, and welcome to the top 30 manga of all time, 100% objective and factual. That's right, 9 out of 10 mangaka agree with this list, and if you don't, then, well, I hate to tell you, but you're kind of a dumbass. Anyway, so last year I ranked every single manga I'd ever read. Took a long time, there was a lot of shit on the list because of it, so this year I'd said, you know what, let's go a bit more on the positive side, and let's only talk about good manga. How about that? Now, things have changed quite a bit since last year. I've read a lot of new series. Some have gotten better over time, some have gotten worse, and some series have just gone down naturally as I've read more things that I've enjoyed. For that reason, unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of series that I really enjoy and love not on this list, because at this point I've read so much manga that I just can't fit everything here. I'm very, very sorry to We Never Learn. I would have loved to put it here, but not, it's just not its time yet. So if there's a series you really love that's not on this list, it's either because I didn't like it as much as these other series, or, of course, and get this, people, you ready? I haven't read it. I get so many comments, it's like, well, where's Macho Man? Where's How to Pick Up Girls in the Dungeon? Here's a little secret life hack, okay? Before you leave your stupid comment asking where Haikyuu is, go down to the description, click on my AniList account, and see what things I have read. There you go, that's what you do. So with that, I say we get started pissing some folks off. At number 30, we have One Piece. The one that started it all, and that it's the one that really first got me into reading manga. Hell, my username is based off of One Piece. It's a series that I've loved throughout the years. I've collected most of the volumes, and while it definitely has gone down the list over time, I still have a ton of respect for One Piece. It has some amazing world building, very memorable characters, some interesting stories, really cool villains, great art, you know, most of the time. The length may scare people off, and I do think some of the arcs are a bit too long, but overall it's just a very consistently enjoyable series. And if you're a fan of the genre, if you have the time and the money, I'd say it would be worth checking it out. At number 29, we have Berserk.
FBI, open up!
We good? We good, guys? I have nothing but good things to say about Berserk. It is a fantastic series with incredible art and likable characters. I really enjoy how it becomes a goofy gag manga. Okay, yeah, I said I want to be negative here. Okay, obviously I don't like Berserk as much as a lot of people. Many people will have this like in the top 5 or number 1, and I can respect that. Because despite with some of my criticisms, it's still a fantastic series. Really, really solid storytelling, especially, you know, in the famous Golden Age arc. Really some of the coolest stuff you'll ever read. And the rest of the series still remains pretty fun, and the art, man, oh my god. It's not a series I can recommend to everyone because of the subject matter, but if all the crazy stuff Berserk is known for doesn't push you away, you really can't go wrong with it. It's still a fantastic series. At number 28, we have Uzumaki. This is a very interesting blend of small town horror and cosmic horror. Right from the beginning, it's very intriguing, very cool, very freaky, and it definitely makes you paranoid whenever you see those fucking spirals somewhere. You know, I never thought I'd be creeped out by a shape, but you know, I guess if anyone can do it, it's Junji Ito. The series takes a really interesting shift, like about halfway through, and I think it's really cool. I think it would have gotten a bit repetitive otherwise. I know a lot of people don't really like where this series ends up, but I honestly just thought it was fantastic. Definitely something you should check out if you like horror. Next up is Fruits Basket. This is such Such a wholesome manga. Okay, I'm not very far into it yet. I'm watching it along with the new anime series, but it has really just left such a big impact on me. It's like this perfect blend of, like slice of life comedy and drama and tragedy, and it's got cute animals. It's just all around a fun time. Because I'm so early on in this series, it could really end up anywhere on this list afterwards. But as of right now, I'm really, really enjoying it. At 26, we have Solanin. This is a very short series, but it's definitely a very high quality one. It's just a quick little slice of life about some characters living their lives, and it's just some really cool stuff. It's probably not going to blow you away, but it's pleasant, it's sad, it makes you feel all these different types of emotions, and it's great. 25, we have A Silent Voice. This is a series that has definitely grown in popularity recently because of the fantastic anime movie, and it's very well deserved because this is such a good series. In a sense, it's like a redemption story about this kid who used to bully this deaf girl, and now he's older, and he feels really shitty about it, and the whole series is just him trying to make it up to her, and it's very sweet. It's really well done. Some very mature and thought-provoking themes in this one, and with it only being 7 volumes long and widely available in print and online, I really can't recommend this one enough. At 24, we have Blade of the Immortal. Now, as of now, I've only read about half of this series, and so far it's very, very good, and I can definitely see it climbing the list as I read more. This is a very gritty, historical revenge story with a really interesting plot, and it spices things up with some pretty wacky supernatural elements. If you like samurai stories, you like historical stuff with some really beautiful art, this is definitely one you should check out. At number 23, we have the ever-popular My Hero Academia. It's kind of popular to hate on this series now, which I think is kind of silly. It's still one of the best shonen battle manga I've read. It just does almost everything right, like it doesn't have annoying characters who win all the time. All of the arcs may have cliche setups, but they always have unpredictable outcomes. The characters are very likable, the action is intense and fast-paced, and really the whole story is fast-paced, which makes it really fun to read through. If you're kind of sick of like super long battle manga that have arcs that go on for volumes and volumes and volumes, this is one you should definitely check out. Number 22, we have Akira. This is a super fun, futuristic cyberpunk series with some supernatural elements and some crazy action. It's very unique. I know it's mostly known because of the fantastic movie from the 80s, but I think this manga really has a lot more to offer in terms of story and action. Really, really cool stuff. At number 21, we have Happiness. This is a very cool and creepy take on a vampire story. Lots of interesting characters, lots of interesting ways how the vampires work in this world, and it definitely goes in some really risky directions that I think pay off substantially and delivers a very thrilling story. At number 20, we have Soul Eater. This is one of my favorite battle manga. Atsushi Okubo is a very talented artist who delivers some very stylistic stuff in this one. It has a lot of horror elements. It's very dark and twisted, yet at the same time it balances, a lot of lighthearted comedy stuff very well. It's just a very entertaining read. It goes by super fast, and it's getting a new 2-in-1 edition this fall, so look for those if you're interested. At number 19, we have Made in Abyss. This is a super well done adventure story that goes to some extremely dark places, both figuratively and literally. We essentially have 2 main characters exploring this giant hole in the ground full of monsters and wacky surprises, and the dynamic between 2 of them is pretty fantastic and leads to some great drama and action scenes. The art style also stands out as very unique, as the artist uses, a combination of hand-drawn stuff and digital stuff. It looks really, really fantastic. Much like Berserk, this one's not for everyone, as some of the stuff in it can be pretty revolting, but if that doesn't bother you too much, I would definitely recommend it. At number 18, we have Mob Psycho 100. While one's other work, One Punch Man, just barely didn't make it onto the list, I really have to give him a lot of credit here for Mob Psycho. This series really has it all. Like, right away, it's a very funny series. Lots of great, interesting, funny, and likable characters. On top of that, it's also a very fun supernatural action series, but it's also not afraid to get serious sometimes. It can get very deep with its themes, very serious with its subject matter, and it all blends together beautifully. And the amount of substance in this series really makes up for the lackluster art. At 17, we have Dr. Stone. This is one of the most unique manga I have read out of recent years. Just the premise, the idea that humanity has sort of restarted. We're back to the Stone Age, but we have all of the knowledge from 2 million years of evolution. This series explores what would happen. How would humanity progress after that point? And it's so intriguing. The characters are amazing. They carry this really cool, informative, and interesting story that's full with a lot of mystery. And Boichi's art is stunning. Some of the finest I've seen out of a weekly manga. It definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, so if you're looking for a really fun read, can't recommend this one enough. At 16, we have what I consider the most underrated series on this list, and that's Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches. From the moment I first read this series, I fell in love with it. It's a romantic comedy that pulls off those two elements extremely well. Not only is it one of the funniest manga I have ever read, but it handles its central romance in a really well done way that's unfortunately very rare to see in shonen manga. But on top of all that, it also delivers a very engaging story with lots of mysteries and twists, and throughout its long 28 volume run I didn't get bored of it at all, and I was really sad to see it go. At number 15, we have a series that has climbed up quite a bit, and that is Attack on Titan. Holy shit, guys. I rarely lose my mind over series, right? You know, you see all these people going like, oh, yo, hype, Boruto! But if there's any person who can make me act like that, it is Isayama. Holy shit, man. Attack on Titan is a series that, while it started good, only got better over time, and I cannot emphasize how good it got enough. We're in the final stretch of story now, and like the past year or two of Attack on Titan has been some of the finest manga I have ever read. Everything in the story was meticulously planned out from the start, and once it all starts to come together, it's just immaculate. And it has such a big scope, such crazy action scenes, it takes wild new directions. What used to be a series that everyone was like, yeah, it's good, but you know, whatever. It has now quickly become one of the best manga I have read. At 14, we have The Flowers of Evil. Now this is a pretty wacky manga. How can a series starring panty thieves be so high up on my list? Well, by telling a fast-paced and fantastic story with complex characters, interesting dynamics, and not giving a shit about taking things to the next level. The Flowers of Evil is truly one of the wildest rides I've ever been on while reading manga, and if you're looking for something quick to read during an afternoon, this is definitely a must-read. At number 13, we have Magi. This remains one of the finest battle manga I have read. It has such an interesting and compelling world. From its politics, to its royal families, to its wars and history. The world of Magi is just stunning, and it's elevated to such heights with an extremely diverse and fleshed out cast of characters. The story ranges from adventure to political thriller to cosmic supernatural shit. It really has it all, and despite of a disappointingly rushed ending, I'll never forget just how amazing this series was. At number 12, we have Parasite, of course the very famous horror story, and for good reason. It's pretty damn amazing. We have our main character who suddenly has to share his body with an alien, and the two of them have to learn to understand each other and live together, and it's unbelievably good. But it's also interesting seeing the other aliens, the ones who did take over their human hosts, and how they deal with surviving but also learning how to live as a human as well. But it's also just a very thrilling action series with a lot of cool body horror in the mix. Just a really great time overall. At 11, we have JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What can I even say about this one? I've read the first 7 parts, and while not all of them are as good as others, the ones that are amazing make it very well deserving of this spot. No matter what you think of each individual part, you are guaranteed to always find an immense sense of creativity. From Araki's ever-evolving and fantastically flexible art, to the stories and battles themselves, which I honestly cannot understand how a human came up with some of this stuff. Yes, the saga of JoJo contains so many wacky elements, a plethora of fantastic and memorable characters and villains, and just overall this immense sense of fun and satisfaction. It's definitely the longest series on this list, but if you have the time, I cannot recommend jumping into JoJo enough. Starting off the top 10 with a series that I love with all of my heart, The Promised Neverland. This was such a breath of fresh air once it started. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this from Shonen Jump before. Just this intense, crazy, mysterious thriller that only got more wild as it continued on. It's almost over now, and it has definitely become one of my favorite Shonen Jump manga of all time. With its fascinating character dynamics, its amazingly rich world, and its expertly crafted story. Like I said, it's ending soon and it's only short, so I really see no reason not to go out and pick this one up. At number 9, we have Planetes. That's right, I'm sticking with the real name this time. No more French bullshit. This is a very short yet very stunning look into our near future. You know, about characters picking up space trash or whatever. There's a lot of what I would call realistic science fiction stuff here. You know, reading this, you could really see humanity being at the point they are in Planetes in like, 70 years or so. But it's just a very well told story carried by an amazing main character, very deep and complex. And the artwork from the Chad himself, Makoto Yukimura, is absolutely gorgeous. Now, like I said, it's short, there's not much else to say, but there's also nothing really wrong with it. It's amazing. Check it out. At number 8, we have Osamu Tezuka's magnum opus, Phoenix. This is an anthology series that spans hundreds and hundreds of years throughout human history, both in the past and the future. All of these stories revolve around the mythical Phoenix and humanity's quest to track it down to gain eternal life, and holy fucking shit. If this isn't the most mind-blowing thing I've ever read, I don't know what to tell you. Almost every single story in Phoenix is just fantastic. The themes it covers, the subject matter, just the narratives of these stories. Even its characters, while their appearances may be brief, they end up leaving a huge impact on you. And even though it's an anthology, you gotta read this series in order because the connections the parts make to each other are... honestly, they're fucking god tier. It's a real shame that Tezuka died before he was able to finish Phoenix. But goddamn, if this series isn't a testament to his legacy, I don't know what is. At number 7, we have a surprise newcomer, Astra Lost in Space. Oh my god, you guys. Yeah, you might be confused because I've never once mentioned this series before. I had heard about it. I had seen it at the store. I'm like, okay, you got this cute 5-volume series about, looks like kids in space or something, whatever. I had absolutely no idea that when I started reading this series, because it was short, that I would be in for one of the craziest rides I have ever been on. Astra begins exactly how it sounds like. It's a bunch of teenagers stranded in space and they have to try to find their way home. So it's a very fun, adventurous survival manga in that sense, but as it continues on, and we delve deeper into the complexities of this story, it constantly blew my mind. Despite being so short, the characters feel like real people. They feel like you've known them your whole life. They're so well developed. And the payoff at the end of it all is so satisfying. Guys, this one is only 5 volumes long. The whole thing is up on the Shonen Jump app. I urge you to read this manga. It is so good. At number 6, we have the classic Full Metal Alchemist. You knew it would be here. Everyone loves Full Metal Alchemist. And pretty much everything there is to say on it has already been said. It's just a fantastic story about 2 brothers. Excellent development, excellent world, excellent story full of crazy twists that all connect back to each other in the end. And it has one of the best endings to a manga I've ever seen. You've probably already checked it out, but if you haven't, this is 100% a must-read for anyone. Starting off the top 5 with Hunter x Hunter, my favorite Shonen Jump series. This is such a masterfully told story. It has the skeleton of a normal shonen battle manga, but the way Togashi builds upon all of its elements it's sublime, man. The characters are well developed and interesting. The story arcs are vastly different from each other, yet they're so unique and so well done. It has probably the best power system I have ever seen in a manga with Nen. Despite what some people say in a few chapters may give you the impression of, a lot of the artwork here is really fantastic, and I really hope that one day Togashi can finish this series, because it really deserves it. And number 4, we have Goodnight Pon Pon. I don't have anything to say. I mean, it was fucking phenomenal as a story. The art is photorealistic, it's gorgeous, but I don't know, I'm still... At number 3, we have Pluto, Urasawa's masterful retelling of a very famous Astro Boy arc. He took this children's story about this big robot going around and beating people up for clout, and reworks it into such an engaging and mature mystery thriller, with a lot of interesting science fiction elements with how robots have been sort of integrated into society in this world. It's only short at 8 volumes, but it left such an impact on me. It handles its themes extremely well, well, and it delivers some really intense and engaging action scenes. I can't get over how good this manga is, man. My words here really don't do this one justice. It's seriously one of the best things I've ever read, and it also has an anime coming next year that I'm extremely excited for. Holy shit. You want to get a short series to read, Pluto should definitely be in your collection. And on that same note, at number 2, we have Monster, another masterpiece from Naoki Urasawa. This is a meticulously crafted, from start to finish, intense thriller. It's about a doctor who just wants to fix things. You know, he's a doctor. He's like, guys, why you always killing people? Why we gotta be like this? And his journey throughout this whole series, his internal and external conflicts with himself, the characters who want to stop him, with the main antagonist Johan. It's all beautiful. It's so beautiful. This is another series where really there's not much else to say because it's all been said before, but it's just a stunning work of art, and the final volumes of this series are truly some of the most intense and suspenseful I have ever read. And as far as completed series go, this is it. I have yet to read anything that's better. So cool shit, Urasawa. This would definitely be number 1 if I wasn't biased as fuck. That is right. I know it's like super obvious at this point because I have never stopped raving about this series since I first read it, but number 1 is, of course, Plus Sized Elf. Oh man, this series. Like, first of all, what a genius premise. Like you have an elf. You know, everyone knows elves. They're small, they're short, and they're skinny. But the mangaka behind this series, the true Chad himself, asks the question, what if we had an elf who was overweight? Unbelievable. From the short amount of time that this series has been running, it has left such an impact on the world. You know, from the acclaimed anime series, the live action film, the tabletop role-playing game, it's just unbelievable, man. And I'll never forget the first time I read Plus.
In the name of God, in the name of God, in the name of God, we come to heaven. In the name of God, in the name of God, in the name of God, we come to heaven.
Yepers, that's right. It's the one and only Saga of the Vinlands. We've been here many times before at the number 1 spot in one of these videos, and I'm here talking about Vinland again. But this is the first time we're here where at the same time there is a fantastic anime adaptation of Vinland airing. Who saw that coming? It feels good, man. There's so much disappointment that when it comes to anime adaptations all the time, but it brings me such immense sexual satisfaction that we have this to look forward to every week. But anyway, yeah, Vinland Saga, there's not really much to say because I've said it all before countless times. Thorfinn is probably the best manga character I have ever seen. The development he goes through is absolutely unreal. It all makes sense. It's all perfectly done. And his journey is just insane. It's wild, man. The characters he comes across, all of their stories, the historical setting is so fully realized. So much research and work went into this. And of course, the art is just stunning. Yukimura, he can do no wrong. Let's be real. Now, the series isn't over yet, which to me, like I always prefer to rank a completed series higher, but it's just too good, man. I love everything about this series. I love where it's going now in the recent chapters, and now is honestly the perfect time to jump into it. With the new anime, you have book 11 coming out later this year, which will be the end of an arc. Just get on that shit, man. It's Vinland Saga, Yukimura, let's go! That'll do it, everyone. Those are my top 30 video. I can't wait to see your colorful comments below. But if you're feeling sensible, why don't you tell me what your favorite manga is? Tell me about your favorite manga. Tell me about why it's your favorite manga. We can all laugh. We can agree to disagree. And we can have a good time. You know, like sensible people. You know, it's what Thors would want, right? We have no enemies. Don't be a villain, guys. Be a hero. And with that, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
March us in the name